Hey, man, this is really untypical for us. We're very professional here at Unfiltered, but thank you, individuals. Tonight is a special night um, because it marks our season finale for season two. Um, and I'm gonna tell you how strange this came about. And we got other people coming in, just to let you know. And there's no mistake about what I got down there. I said thank you to every single one of you because I am extremely humbled and appreciative. Um, any individuals that can spend the most powerful and most valuable commodity in life, which is time, because you can't get it back, to look, comment, follow up, share, like this podcast that is absolutely beyond a shadow of a doubt um, something near and dear to my heart. Um, of course, hey baby. Um, of course, when you got a beautiful woman, um, uh, I guess it's kind of a little bit of fate that I may have this little time by myself to speak very candidly and very much from the heart. Um, I think a lot of people may get the misunderstanding that I'm just absolutely a hardliner and this is what I do, and very opinionated, um, very passionate man myself. Uh, this is why, um, I like I said, I guess it's just, hey, it happens. To each one of my hosts that's hosted the show with me, um, to Mac Reese, to Jordan, Asian boy, who I am definitely gonna make fun of because right now he is at home cooking and intoxicated. Right now, as we speak, and as he watches and shares this podcast, he is at home intoxicated and drunk. And I found it hilarious that he said that. But it's and of course to Miss Cola, uh, who all of y'all, man, it is absolutely no words to say how greatly I appreciate every single one of y'all for the time, your effort. Um, when y'all get on the show, um, like I said, time is the commodity that's most valuable in the world. And we're not going to take up a lot of time for y'all tonight. I think I want to keep it special. I want to keep the nostalgia right. We're going to have a couple of guests. They're going to come on. They're going to say what they need to say. Some that we invited before. This has to be their first times coming on the podcast. And I think tonight, I don't want to do any preaching and hitting on even all and everything that's going on in the world. We got so much going on. And just in the last couple of days, we had, just sometimes it just seemed like, just when you feel like you're starting to get over a hump, it's another one comes and just bam, hit you right back. It is I'm normally good with words. I'm a very good person with words. You don't get everywhere that you get in life alone. You don't get there by yourself at all. I absolutely consider my life to be very depictive of a movie, or better yet, a play. And the best way I can describe it is that even with plays, you have three major parts. You have the first act, and if you've ever been in a play before, the first act is always the one that's the most exciting. It's got all the action. It's got all the thrills. It got all the everything, because it's just coming about. You're starting to see. You start to discover the snakes, the fakes, the good ones. It's got all the best sex scenes. It's got everything in it. Everything that is designed to do in the first scene, or the first act, better yet, the first act, it's incredible. That's what it's designed to do. It's designed to keep you engaged, to make people want more and just crave more, to either make them root for the hero or hate the villain, and leave them intrigued and wanting to try to figure out what happened next, what happens next. That's just about everybody's favorite part of life. And like I said, in that play, that's your life. That's normally the part that everybody loves the most. They love the first act. It's all the excitement. It's all the thrills. Then you got a part in life that is called the intermission in the play. The intermission is a very confusing part. It is it's where things start to change. It's where you start to see things in your life happen. You get exposed to different events. You try to figure out what's going on. It's hard to really put a too fine of a point on it. And it's just, it leads to so much confusion. And what ends up happening is that it's at this point in the intermission part of life that most people break up. Most people fall off. Most people disappear from your life. Or this is the part when you start to see the people that you need to stick it out with. But the reason why y'all fall out is because you are so Leisha, I send it to your Gmail account. Go to the Gmail. You start to doubt things that's going on. This happens in relationships when you're in a couple, when you're a couple, you're with somebody, y'all been with each other, y'all been having all the sex, y'all been having all the excitement and everything of that nature, and then all of a sudden it kind of get a little stagnant. And what I mean by stagnant is that it starts moving over into a different portion, and it's uncharted territory. That's what happens in the intermission. You start to discover through hardship and chaos and thrills, and you find out who was really there for you. You find out who loves you, find out who just loves the ideal of you. And it's a confusing time because you make some choices. Most of your huge life choices come in the intermission. It depicts everything and determines all the rest of the situations that come after. Then it's the second act. And it's the act I want to talk about tonight. Real talk. And I want to make it quick, like I said, to every single one of y'all. And it'll display the most of how I feel and how passionate I am about not only my people, but about this podcast, about my family, about my life, and about myself. The second act, that's where the depth comes in. I'll tell you, man, it's funny. That's when you, just in case a lot of people don't know, and you start to get there. The depth comes in. That's when friends that you didn't have for a long time start to y'all start to be able to feel each other, start to sense each other, even in relationships. You know how, like, you ever seen a couple that's been together for so long and they know when something's going wrong with the person they love, and they ain't even have to talk to them. They got a feeling that it's just incredible. They can't explain it. And that's where I know that I'm starting to enter to in this part of my life. And it's because of this depth. And it's because of the hard knocks of the intermission aspect of my life that I am so grateful, and I am so tremendously excited for everything that's about to happen in the second act. This is how I feel about Unfiltered. We have done such an amazing job. I mean, it is beyond words how amazing a lot of these things have come about. When you go from 20 to 6 views, like little short views, you don't see everything popping off. You don't see it. And then when you go to thousands, when you see the hundreds of emails that pour in, when you get comments of people saying that they love your show, they love your content, that they love the responsibility that we don't take for granted on here, man. That's all that's worth it. When starting Unfiltered, my whole goal was to be totally different. It's tons, there's thousands of podcasts out there. You got podcasts for everything. They talk about everything. You got celebrities that start podcasts and they just get views based off their name. They really don't have no content. They don't really be talking about anything, but because people know them, they get it on there. And I'm not faulting for that. Do what you have to do. On food and video games. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on and in every which way. But what I just love the most about Unfiltered and just being able to do it is really absolutely a labor of love. It is where we have said from the very beginning that what we want to do is bring awareness, education, and truth to our community. It's too many people that get on social media and just run whatever with the first thought or the first stat they see and they run with it. And in this day and age of cancel culture and incorrect information and fake news, anybody that does that, especially in the Black community, I got to put it out there, especially with us being Blacks out here, that it's irresponsible and it's dangerous for us not to do that. And I've always been told in my life that if you lie to me, then you have no love for me. I may not know any of the several thousands of y'all that have tuned in and watched our show, no matter in Michigan, the Midwest, West Coast, East Coast, to our fans and United Kingdom, and even our fans as far as Japan. Shout out to Ray, who shares our stuff in Japan, and I'm so grateful for that. It lets you know that the effect and the impact that you have ain't local, that we're responsible for the things that we say. It's individuals in Japan that see the information that's on the show. And just like in anywhere, in the United Kingdom, see the information on the show. And they get to see a different viewpoint. They get to see Black males, Black women who talk about issues that are necessary for our development, not just for our entertainment. We crack jokes and we do a lot of things on here. But the one thing that we do more than anything and that we are absolutely proud of is that we bring factual and accurate information to this community, period. And it's the community at large. We do it all the time. We don't put anything out here because we want to be first. We don't put anything out here because we want to be popular. We put it out here because we want our people to grow, excel, elevate, be enlightened, and become the best versions of themselves. We want to let you individuals know out here that when starting Unfiltered, it's not because we love to hear the sound of our voices. I love to see the sight of y'all successes, period. I love to see the growth of any individual. I love to see people that have gone through, paid their dues, been through the fire, been tested and branded and come out clean on the other side. And I love to celebrate with you. There's no other way for me to say it better than that. That here at Unfiltered, we like to do a huge celebration of everyone, but particularly people that look like me, that come in different shades, different varieties, different hairstyles, different eye colors, beard, no beard. And we could talk all day about everything that's going on. We know. I don't want to be at any time one of those podcasts. And that we've driven this home so much. Any podcast that says and just does what everybody else does because it's the most convenient thing to do and we can get the most ratings. The one thing we have never done on this show is compromise. Compromise y'all in any way of the information that we're giving you, and also never compromise our integrity. One of the best movies in the world that everybody knows, Scarface. He said on line in there that should be the most popular line instead of all the rest of the stuff. He said, all I got in this world are my balls and my word, and I don't break them for nobody. The problem is most people, word is so bankrupt, you couldn't get value out of it. If you refinance it over 800 times, you couldn't get any value out of it. I am just completely grateful that the platform that we have is being used in such an incredible way. And you got so many people to thank because, like I said, you don't ever do anything alone. Alicia, I'm going to still get that for you. I'm just gone. You already said I'm just messing with her. I'm messing with Alicia because she already said it too, right? She's like, I want to mess up your flow. Good. Appreciate it. Like I said, I want to thank, of course, Jordan Asian boy, Mac Reese, man, who's like a cousin, but he's really like my little brother. And to my cousin Cole, who's like, is like the big cousin, but / sister. And the chemistry is so well. I can't wait for us to get back together face to face. And I can't wait to do this season 3 with y'all. Y'all don't know how bad Cola is missing being on here. You don't know how bad we miss being together and just thriving off that energy. And shout out to every single one of they mates, they wives, they girlfriends, and for Cola, all her hoes. No, let me not do that because somebody might watch it. Cola girl, she already know what's up. She good. That just have so much understanding because it's a labor that we do, and I'm telling y'all, we text almost every day. We always going over the information. We always making sure that we got everything right. We want to make sure that we meet in accord. If something don't sound right, we tell each other that don't sound right. That's not right. Y'all see it on the show. If y'all been here and y'all are active fan of us, y'all know what's up. Y'all know what we do here. We constantly go back and forth, and we don't kneel off because we feel pressure. We just listen, and we can agree to disagree, or we can say, I see your point of view. I ain't never thought about that before. Or, oh man, I was misinformed about that. My whole entire opinion to change. And that's how you debate as adults. Not if you don't like what I like, I'm dipping. We can't do that. That's not how we're going to get by in life. And the problem is, one of the biggest things that we have an issue with, especially, in the world, period, is that we have all lost track of how to communicate. We don't know how to communicate. They invented social media, but it's really come anti-social because we don't know how to talk to each other. I can send a text that says, hello, and I put it in all caps. And all of y'all know that I can send it to 21 people, and you can have 21 different reactions to that. They're like, dang, why are you yelling? Dang, why are you mad? Oh, why is it like that? Dang, why is it like this? Because we have not learned the art. Some of us has either lost the art or never learned the art of talking to each other and communicating in the right way. This is the problem with the world right now. We can't have grown-up conversations. It seems like it's a lost art of grown conversations. It becomes so selfish. Somewhere down the line, babies started raising babies to be babies, and it's been incredible. Only a baby, only a child just wants because they see somebody else has. Only a baby fights and argue for no reason, just because you don't want to do it, or just because I don't agree with you. So we can't talk. We can't be friends. We have to get over to this aspect where we get out of trying to be this whole different element of where we thinking that if you don't agree with me, then there's something wrong. Then I can't talk to you. Then I can't be with you. That is what is destroying us as a whole. It has been destroying us. It is destroying us in a group. When you see this black father in Wisconsin, and you see him get shot in the back 7 times. Now, granted, we is a whole lot of information that we're still looking, but let me tell you something. I don't care what it is. If somebody is getting shot in the back, it's got to be a different way. And it's 7 times. That's overkill. And it's something I didn't really want to, I wanted to touch on it, but I just wanted to touch and move over. But I want to bring an example. Communication is off. Is it communication to blame for that whole situation? Absolutely. We can all say, shit, he had to stop. Yeah, you have to stop. Me, myself, I would have never moved. And I ain't trying to be funny. I just don't, police officers, are they good ones? Absolutely. There's absolutely good police officers. Just like I said, this has never been, and hear me out and listen, please listen. All this situation dating back from Breonna Taylor, Floyd, my goodness, we could just keep going back. Malice Green, we could continue to keep going back and forth. But the issues that we have is so many, is that it's not about bad white cops, bad black cops, bad white citizens, bad black citizens. Okay? I've given this example so many times that you could have a good cop who has done it, been having an impeccable record his whole career, ain't never done nothing, but just one situation happens where he makes the wrong decision. They're not going to say, oh, well, you'd have this clear record this whole time. But he didn't all of a sudden snapped and did something he ain't supposed to do. He still deserves, don't he still deserve to go to jail if he murdered people senselessly for no reason? Absolutely, right? You might have a bad cop that being nothing but dirty, take dope money, plant, and all to do this stuff. And all of a sudden, one day on the street, he saved a kid's life. They come and getting almost about to get by the car. Vroom, he saved their life. He did the right thing at that time frame. So everybody got their chance to do good or bad. And what we need to base things on is on situations only, not people. That's the definition. When you base things on people, that's the very definition of racism and being partial. We need to just base situations on what's right and what's wrong. Throw color out the way, throw gender out the way, throw everything out the way except for the details of the situation. And we could do a lot better. But the problem is, as much as people say they want it to be that way, and they cry and they march for it, we really don't want it to be that way. Because guess what? It's got to be that way in every aspect. For every cop, whether they white or black, that kills anybody that's defenseless, unarmed, in such a excessive force way, whether they're white or black, they should be based. The penalty should be based upon the situation. Point blank. Period. I don't care if they black. I don't care if they white. I don't care if they have an impeccable record. I don't care if they don't have a record. Make it even right down the middle. The part is everybody don't want to even out the middle because people do want to have some kind of favoritism. Man, look, it's a good kid. Well, if it's a good kid that killed another kid, guess what? They got to go. If it's even down the middle, no one can say anything. Fair down the middle, no one can complain anymore. But the fact of the matter, you're still going to have people complaining because that's how people are. It's a saying. To make everyone happy is to make no one happy because it's a mission impossible to make everyone happy. Just the way I want cops judged the same way, and the same effort we go out here and protest about cops, we have to protest and we have to go out here and fight in our own communities about some of these senseless crimes, babies getting shot, women getting raped, old people getting beat. It's incredible. We have to do it the same way, the same energy. We can't fake energy. It's got to be the same way. Some of y'all got kinetic energy with other things. And it's just incredible that it's like, bring that same energy. Because guess what? I'm mad at this guy getting shot in the back 7 times like a coward. Yep. Guess what? It's going to make national press because it's hot. It's hot right now. Tensions is high. But I'm also mad about the several young kids in Detroit that have been murdered in drive-by shootings. Just as soon as everybody got out of, got out of quarantine, people were going crazy. Wasn't even supposed to be doing some of the things that we're doing, and that always bothers me. I'm like, because I don't like dead kids. Period. I don't like to hear about women and young kids and young men or any. I don't like to hear about nobody getting murdered and that have nothing to do with the situation. Because it's always people that have nothing to do with the situation for the majority aspect of the time that always getting killed. That's always going to jail and doing everything of that nature. I get tired of that. I hate hearing that narrative all the time. And that's what we need to be focused on. That if we gonna talk all the stuff about everything we don't like, it's got to be, like I said, right down the middle about everything. We got to have the same energy with every aspect of the wrong and every aspect of the good. We got to stop being partial, stop giving people the hood pass, stop giving people the, they're cops, so give them the benefit of the doubt. No. Evidence, the facts, and get feelings out of it. Period. Get feelings out of it. Past experience. And if you can't be impartial, you shouldn't be on juries. You shouldn't be involved in any way whatsoever, because that way you don't have justice in mind. You got revenge in mind, and we don't need that. Period. I know a lot of y'all don't like what I got to say on that, and that's fine. But the truth ain't always about liking. And that's period. The truth ain't always about, oh man, you know what I'm saying? I agree with on that. Sometimes you need to hear the truth. And that's period. We need to hear the truth at all times. Okay, maybe that didn't work. Give me a second, y'all. I'm trying to do one thing. So I know a lot of y'all comments. I'm sorry, y'all. I got my boy Sale coming on this bad boy. I just resent you out there, Alicia. So hang on there. Then I got my boy right here. One of my favorite guests, one of the most talked about guests that we got on this bad boy. The fans love him. I nicknamed him the councilman. I've called him this on so many occasions. I said, and I believe it, and I have prophesied in his life, and I am a man of God. So I know that it's coming to pass with this young man. And I could call him young man because he's a little younger than me, even though we both about in the same third bracket. But he's one of my most dearest and incredible friends. He's been nothing but supportive, and everything that this guy does, we can both co-sign our lives in this community and the things that we do in this community for one another. Because for a long time, for a couple of years, we were always riding buddies. We always did what we did, especially out here. It is incredible to have him on this show. I am saying it right now, future councilman of the city of Detroit, Mr. Marcel Copeland. Thank you, Sel, for coming on this bad boy, because he's busy. The guy is so busy.
Yeah, I'm busy, but I don't know if I'm council person busy just yet.
Just yet. There you go. Got to get ready. That's all it is. It's just training for you, man.
Get ready. Just setting
training,
up this national convention here, seeing what they up to. But yeah, man, it's good to be on. What's happening, Randy?
Man, it is, man. Everything is good, man. I appreciate you being on. Like I said, it's our season finale for Unfiltered for season 2. And like I said, you know how some people say, "Oh, it's bittersweet." It ain't bittersweet, nothing. It's been sweet all the way through. I love it. It's been sweet all the way through. It's just been incredible. We got so many guests that that I want to thank so much for just being on the show. They are so incredible. And I see, I got Alicia coming out too. I see you, Alicia. Give me a second. Because I'll give Alicia a proper introduction, because she need one, because you know people about to see this girl and they about to go crazy. Especially we made fun of her last one. I'm like, oh my goodness. She put her email on that bad boy. I'm like, don't put that email on there. The last thing I need is you tripping on us, talk about some gas. I know, right? I'm like, that's the last thing I need. I don't need them problems in my life. The guys coming on there, going to her email. They're like, oh my goodness. Then blaming it on Filter. Don't do that. But very, very smart sister. And knows what she's talking about. But before I bring her on, Sale, what can I say, man? Like I said, you are one of the popular guests. They like you. And keep in mind, the show with me and Sale is the highest viewed show. This is how much they like this guy. I'm like, man, you got to come back on here, man. I need to get another 10,000 views. And but man, it's something. Why you think people like you so much, man? Is it just because you're just so genuine? Some people, it comes off of them. And I can say that about you. It comes off when you genuine, and everything that you say, I love how you just speak like right on it.
You know, I try to just speak truth the best I can, you know, from the knowledge base that I have. You know, I'm not here to try to make myself look like nothing that I ain't. And, you know, I'm certainly not a talking head, so I ain't trying to, you know, come in within the yin yang and try to, you know, slick talk anybody or convince anybody of anything. I just bring my knowledge base that I have and just try to be truthful with it, you know. So I don't put up any fronts.
There we go. Appreciate you, Sal. Now let's go ahead and bring. I'm gonna let her introduce herself, but I'm gonna bring her on to the live stream. I hope she come up. There she go. I'm gonna let her introduce herself. She was gonna be there. You go. What's up? I'm gonna let her introduce herself.
You caught me. I'm about to take.
I'm gonna let her do it. I ain't got nothing else to say. I see you gonna do your thing. Go ahead, introduce yourself to everybody on Unfiltered. There we go. Do your thing. Do your thing.
A lot of y'all know by you say what?
I said, did you get a lot of people?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I hear you. We hear you. Did you get a lot of people emailing you when you went and dropped dime on there? I think we might have lost. I hope we didn't lose your volume, but yeah, I can't hear you now. So if you're saying something, I can't hear you, Alicia.
you hear me better
now? Yeah, I hear you a little better now.
Give me a second.
Okay, you got what the heck just happened?
How about that one? Is that one better?
That's a little better. That's a little better than the other times. Yep, that's a little better.
Okay, so for me as Elmo, for some of y'all who probably know me longer than that, I'm Alicia, but so I range from a bunch of different topics. So go ahead.
Hey, I thought that she was cussing and it was blocking it out. I'll say, did she just cuss? And it would block it out like, my name is and I
You know what? Let me see. I wasn't cussing at all. Oh, give me a second. Y'all go ahead. I'm gonna try to get it on my cell phone.
All right, cool beans. So yeah, we got I know we heard about everything that was going on with out in I don't, like I said, it's crazy. I mean, it's, you see videos and you're like, okay. I don't want to spend a lot of time on there, but I do want to get y'all viewpoint on it. Man, 7 shots in the back.
Yeah.
That's the one that I'm like, 7 in the back.
In the back.
Yeah. Like, man, I'll say, I mean, we, like I said, man, we've been working in the neighborhoods forever. Seen a lot of different things. I can't lie to you. I've not heard about 7 shots in the back, and I'm being really honest. And then that blatant and at that close range, it's like bam. It's mind blowing a little bit. You're waiting for information to come out, but 12 shots in the back. I mean, sorry, 7 shots. Let me not be like some other people. It's crazy that to even think about that.
Yeah,
like 12 shots.
Yeah.
What you thinking, man?
When I saw the video initially, it turned my stomach. It was just like a shock to the system. It was kind of like that piercing feeling that you get in your chest, like when I first saw the George Floyd video. But it wasn't quite as intense as that, but it wounded me in the chest. And what I noticed was, I'm like, what's the whole scenario right here? This guy's walking away. He's outpowered. He's outmanned. And this guy just shot him, just unloaded on his back. And so I played the video again. I looked over at this officer. Now, Randy, about firearms better than I can. There's a point where you can hear him let off the trigger and then do that second squeeze.
Yep.
He looked over at his partner, and I'm just listening, blah, 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 blah. He looking over. He can't be that much of a threat. He's taking his eyes off of him for a brief second, off his target. Turn it like he a gangster, like this New Jack City or something. I don't know what he thought was going on. And so later we hear this news that apparently Jacob was breaking up a fight and he was walking away, that the police had got there. This told me different narratives and perspectives. And so I'm not going to pretend like I know, exactly what, because we know how that gets you in trouble.
Yep.
Hopefully Detroit will breathe, learned their lesson. But
you would think so.
But it's any way you look at it, it was excessive force.
Absolutely.
It was enough of them to throw them in a German suplex over their shoulder, you know, and tackle them or something. It was enough of them to do that way before it got to that. But the thing that strikes me, Randy, so you have a 17-year-old kid from Illinois, go up there to Wisconsin. He goes to the protest that ensues after the shooting, kills 2 people. He walk away unscratched.
Unscratched.
He's asking assault, right? He's armed. This man that you killed was unarmed. This guy posing looking like Rambo with this huge gun bigger than him. And this footage of him undeniably shooting someone, killing someone. And he go unscathed. And so my question is, because this question has come up before, they always say, well, what could have Mr. Blake have done different? What could he have done different? He the victim. What do you mean, what could he have done different? Mm-hmm. And I asked this question to myself, why do we always have to atone for and apologize for our own suffering as a people? And, absolutely. You know, I'm just so beyond, you know, what could you have done better than watching the comments of people coming in, flooding in, you know, where if he would have just gave up his rights and stopped assuming he had rights. And I said, what you assuming he had rights? So this go back to this whole thing that we have a whole group of people in this country that still view us as less than human. And I think that goes into the training of some of these officers that we're less than human. We're scum on the street, you know, that needs to be killed, that needs to be eliminated. When you have a threat, what do you do with a threat? In any branch of service, you eliminate the threat. And so I think that, you know, through this whole thing, and I don't want it to get dark, you know, but I think through this whole thing, it's showing us that you can do all the Black Lives Matter protests you want, but until we have true equity, it means nothing, you know.
Absolutely nothing.
And for darn sure, burning down courthouses ain't gonna help the cause, you know. And I've been advocating for strategic partnerships. I've been saying it, Randy. We need strategic partnerships. Nothing gets done out there in the street like that, you know. You know, if you want to wield true power, you got to go where the pen is to get the true power. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. They want to hear, we're going to go in, guns blazing, we're going to burn everything down. But it affects our people and our community. So I'd say that just to say, you know, I'm tired of us having to apologize for our own suffering, our own murdering of our own people. And I'll just leave it at that.
Man, as you said a mouthful right there, Sal, man. You already know it's rare that me and you have a disagreement, and if we do, we got a good explanation for why we disagree. Mm-hmm. Leisha, I know just from following your page and just knowing you, because we known each other. Dang, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Long time. Goodness gracious. I don't even want to say how long we known each other, because because I ain't old. I'm just better. So I ain't about to say how long that is. But what do you? I've heard you, and it's a lot of things that we agree with. And one of those things was about the protest, and I know we both agree on the fact that I don't do protests. I think we have gone way past protests, and nobody has ever. The problem is that when we had protests, just to give an example of a protest that actually worked, but it had a rationale behind it. It's like it's the Montgomery bus boycott. That had a rationale. It said, look, this is what we're going to do. We're not going to ride the bus. And keep in mind, this is the one thing, and I think it's go to what you said, Sale, that a lot of blacks are not getting the understanding of. The reason why the Montgomery bus boycott was so effective is because it hit where it's supposed to hit, and it hurt, and it was money. They realized that, oh my God, majority of our money is coming from blacks.
That's right.
So when they stop catching the bus, and people don't understand it. See, a lot of people don't like the aftermatter of after the fact when it comes to boycotts, because it's a strategic plan. After that means that it's going to be a little tight for everybody, and they knew that with
Right.
the bus boycott. They said, okay, we got to walk some miles. Okay, what they do? They got up early. They walked their miles, walked to their jobs, walked to wherever they had to get to. With the buses, they said before, like, look, we ain't gonna survive like this. Let them sit wherever they wanted to sit. So with you, Alicia, when you see like we were just talking about with Jacob in Wisconsin, what's your view on it? I'm curious to know what your view on it.
Okay, so I'm gonna be honest and just watch the whole video. It's past time for me watching all of desensitizers. So I don't watch all of the videos. I've heard what people have been saying, and yes, I do believe that this man was shot and killed over what could have been. I don't understand how pulling out guns and shooting solves such a small situation. There are some things that I think us as a black community need to understand. Make it right, but I'm gonna say this anyway. We have got to stop having our pride, or she have got to stop having that sensibility of I ain't going out this type of attitude, because we know they set us up to be hood martyrs. So, and given it, I was just telling a guy that I was considering dating. I was like, listen, if it comes down to the cops saying that they got my head, I got your buying money. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I know a black man or a woman, the possibility that they're going to die is very high. That's why, we're not taking in consideration of the thought of, yes, it's how to survive, not try to be hard, not trying to stand up. And not all of the cases are the same. Philando Castile, totally totally different situation. But
Yeah.
setting ourselves up and our children up to be martyrs. That is just my whole thought on that. Many shots to the back. I know that there were 7 shots, but 8 missed. So I don't know how you get 7 and 8, but maybe there's some little tricky, Kennedy bullet. See more than just protest. Funny thing, and like you said, Randy, you know how I feel about that. Protesting, especially, I hate Martin Luther King people, or excuse me, respectfully, Dr. Martin Luther King. I'm not one of those people. I think it made us very docile. I think that's the reason why we don't get anything answered that we want peace. I'm more on the Malcolm X side of things. Justice and peace by any so when it comes to that, it's time for us to start standing up. I think it's time for us to make real demands. I'm tired of not having real demands. I am so tired of these demands being it really doesn't give us any sanity for us walking around here with these tips on our shoulders about defunding the police. I think that's crazy. Pulling police out of our neighborhoods. Pulling police out of our communities. I think that's also that before we can start to tell officers or white people get to learn how to treat ourselves. If we're not treating ourselves that way, we can't expect anybody else to take us. I'm one of them people that's going to push blame on the white man and the system and all that other stuff. I believe that when start, you're like a child that's an adult and never grew up. You blamed your parents for who you are. You blamed your parents for the environment you grew up in. I think as black people, we have grown up enough. We have resources. We have ways to make money. We have ways to get into government. We have ways to get into politics. if you're not involved in anything. So that's where I stand with that. If we want, it's time for us to start implementing a plan. We don't even have a plan for survival. And that shows just how we handle COVID. If nobody has realized the way that we handle COVID and the way the rest of the world handled COVID when it came to preparedness is totally sad. It's totally sad. When they started opening up stuff in Atlanta, I see all these people lined up for the Jordans. But you look at the white people that are only sending food and guns. They're preparing big stuff. And then, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what are we thinking? We send all these people to do this. We do. I think, but at the same time,
No.
and the thought process that I have on that is that even the gangsters don't really know how to shoot. Gangsters still don't know how to shoot. But I know some 13 and 14-year-old white kids, the first try. Our preparedness is off. And I'm not saying everybody go up in arms, but again, so we're not we're not planning ourselves to survive for pandemics in the battle that we're going to be facing. And I think it's time for us to implement the plan. Somebody sound plan, and let's move forward with it. Because otherwise, we're gonna be just sitting like this for another 100 years. That's my thought.
Man. No, but it's funny that people get upset. This is and this will go back to when I hear people talk about they want to branch off. We want equal rights. We want all these other things. We want. But I'm a firm believer of that. That's nice that you want, but in all that you want, you got to be willing to give up something. So, and people want to I love everything that you said about that. We're not at the space yet to be like we can. Let me put it this way: if you want to branch off and be on your own, Dr. Miles Monroe, who I love, if any of you out there want to hear some great sound teaching, Dr. Miles Monroe, may he rest in peace, is one of the best and most articulated minds I've ever heard in my life. And there's a lot of guys I got on that list, men and women. But Dr. Miles Monroe is outstanding. Go YouTube him, get his books. He's outstanding. And one of the things that he says is that people got to understand that when getting prepared, one of the aspects that we lost track about is that when people say, you got to put in your work, understand people don't lost track of what the word work means. And work just means, for the most part, getting there and operating in what you was put on this earth to do, basically. When you go out to put in work, it's like you operating in what you have been put on this earth to do. So when you work, that's why there's a difference between when somebody say, I got a job and I'm working. See, most people, you go to the job, okay, that's fine. And it's fine to go to a job. I'm making people say nothing different. You go to your job because you're preparing for your work, for the most part. But when you're operating in what you were put here to do and you're working in it, man, you're developing, you're becoming better. So just to date back what you was just saying, Alicia, when you was talking about that we're not prepared, right now, if somebody said, let's get ready for revolution, I'll be looking at them like they're crazy. I'm like, shoot, we ain't ready. We ain't got our own food sources. We don't know how to plant. We don't know how to farm. Shoot, we don't know how to take care of ourselves, like you said. We don't know how to shoot. We right now we're so infatuated with just being entertained and straight comfort that we don't understand it. I went to Dunham's during the first part of the pandemic, and one of the first things I did when I went to Dunham's, and that's like my grown man toy store. I went to Dunham's. The first things I got was ammunition. I was like, okay, I'm getting ammo. I like it's just I just went by with my first feeling. So instead of getting the regular amount, I kind of doubled up a little bit. And I'm glad I did that because the next day when I was like, oh, it's some good things, let me go up there, everything was cleared off. It was a line from the front to the back, outside. Shout out Dunham's over there on Hoover Road, 11 Mile. I love y'all. And I seen it, and it was all, for the lack of it, a lot of all white folks in line doing it back. It was just done. It was cleared out. This was in a matter of a day. I went at night. That means these people got up in the morning and cleared house. I'm talking about tents, knives, guns, everything. And when you start seeing people getting ready for to do this because they storing up, some people say they crazy and things of that nature, but no, some people got a ready sense. A lot of I hate to say it like this, but a lot of other races got a more steady sense on what they need for survival. And right now we just don't. That's why, like Alicia, you were saying, the protests don't get it from y'all. Want to go here like no justice, no peace. I'm like, y'all been saying the same chant for over 30 years. And I'm sorry, ain't nothing changed. Y'all expecting, to me, when you protest in this country, it's like going into someone else's house, telling them, that you coming here to stay. Like, hey, I know this your house, but hell no, we won't go. Hell no, we won't go. I'm like, if you don't get the hell out of my house. And this is basically the attitude of this government. This is why I laugh so much when people talk about this. We want these right. Let me tell you something. Y'all don't get up hardly, you know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, if people vote, they vote. They don't, they don't. But my thing is that if you don't vote, don't complain. Because the game is won, just like you were saying, Marcel, the game is won at a higher level. They send in, look at the military. You think the military has gotten so advanced for everybody that if they send in soldiers to fight, in the Marines, they call them grunts. They send them in to fight. They got so advanced now, they don't need to send in grunts anymore. They just launching missiles. They just bombing villages. They like, what we need to do that for? Why I need to lose all my soldiers for that? They don't need them. Like, send them in. Okay, go send them in. My father and a lot of other my men in my family who was in the military, they used to call certain groups, they were like, they body bag fillers. Because they just send them out in the first raid to go ahead and do what they got to do. Like, okay, send them out, man. We going to see how they are based upon how many of them die. Oh, is that bad? All right, we know we got to hit it. And I just, like you were both saying, and I ain't trying to talk for so long, but it's incredible the mentality of where we think that we going at now when we think that we're ready to go all out war. Like, like Alicia saying, I hope she get back on here. I see she disconnected. But it's so weird to see the mentality, especially when you got people that put individuals in leadership like think Detroit, like Detroit will breathe, who is one of the most stupidest. There ain't no other word for me to say this about how I feel about Detroit will breathe. Because this group, they put the stupidest guy in charge of this group. And he gets up there and speaks. And I'm looking like, this guy's a plumb idiot. This is who y'all, first of all, the leader, when the person you put out there to be the leader is supposed to be the best in y'all whole, it's supposed to be the best in the group. Like, this the person that is the best. You put this idiot out there for him to say the stupid things he done said. I'm like, this dude look like he halfway drunk all the time when he speaks. I've seen this man in person and asked him straight to his face. I said, do you actually believe all the nonsense that come out your mouth He said, what nonsense do you mean? It's unlawful. It's on everything else. I'm like, where are you when in the community over in the last, just in Detroit alone, we had a stretch that every weekend we were getting young kids and people shot. I'm like, where were y'all at when that was going on? Why do y'all never appear when it's violence being inflicted just within our own community? Because last time I checked, if I got an army and it's conflict inside the army, I hate to tell you, I'm getting rid of the individuals that's doing the nonsense inside my army. They got what they do with that. They normally take them out. I mean, it's the world famous story about Thomas Jefferson shooting a man on the front lawn of the White House for treason. And I tell people, I'm like, you want to know why Thomas Jefferson did that? He could have did it in a whole bunch of different ways. He could have just took him out back, had his soldiers shoot him, do all this other stuff. But the reason why he put him on the front lawn of the White House and he took the gun out and shot him is because he wanted everybody to know, I am the leader and I don't agree with this behavior. And if anybody else does it, I'm sending the example, you will be shot on the front lawn like this idiot. So when I see groups like Think Detroit and they so dangerous in all their rhetoric and they heavily backed by white faces, but they want to put a black idiot in front to be the leader, it disturbs me because they got out here and they said, they said on Woodward, I think that was Woodward, where they said they was going to stay on Woodward and block traffic until the feds got out of Detroit. First of all, what the hell has the feds done in Detroit that got y'all saying y'all want to block off Woodward until the feds? I'm like, are y'all some idiots? These people are just plain idiots. I'm like, this is the idea of the blind leading the blind. And it's just ridiculous. I'm looking like, no, we're going to get out here. The feds don't need to be. We ain't talking about the feds. Y'all just using different things that happen out in other places. Soon as, because this didn't happen until Wisconsin happened. And they're not even protesting about Wisconsin. They blocking the street. I'm like, y'all blocking the major street. People trying to get home. People trying to work. Like, do any of y'all got jobs? Do any of y'all do anything outside of block traffic and do anything? Because what y'all gonna do is y'all gonna start pissing off the wrong people. Cops should be the least of y'all worries. I mean, you gonna start pissing off. People gonna start getting mad. You protesting, breaking up streets. I seen it happen myself on Livernois. I was over there working. People was beeping. I mean, a guy got out of his car and said, move out of my way. What are y'all doing? All this over a lie. What's my man name? Hakeem Littleton. When they had Hakeem Littleton, the lie came on Facebook so fast. Oh, he got shot 20 times. He was unarmed. Then shout out to Chief Craig. I give him a lot of respect for this because he's been very transparent in everything he has. He putting out the tapes. He put it right out there, quick, fast, in a hurry. Everybody saw it, and they still protested, talking about, well, we think it's I think it was excessive. I'm like, well, you try this. Just like you said, Alicia, this guy, he wasn't even the subject of the arrest. I seen the whole entire tape. They got guys laid down because they were doing a bust over shootings in the neighborhood. These guys had killed kids in other neighborhoods, and they finally found them. They got them on the ground. They getting ready to arrest them. This guy, Hakeem Littleton, wasn't even one of the guys getting arrested. He wasn't even the subject of the arrest. What does he do as the cop is walking toward to arrest the guy that was in front of him on the ground? He pulls out his gun. He shoots some point blank range 4 times. And like I said, this guy needs to play that date in the lottery because God was looking over him, and he need to keep that date in infamy because close blank range and that kid who can't shoot, that go back to what Alicia just said, he can't even shoot. You couldn't hit somebody 2 feet in front of you. Thank God he didn't hit him. But then guess what happened? Another cop who showed that know how to shoot hit him 4 times point blank range. Same amount of bullets, same amount of times. And now we screaming outrage in regards that it was excessive. No, let me tell you something. If it had been in the street, if it had been in the hood,
Right.
this guy's head would have got blown off. They would have kept shooting him. His head would have been blown off. It would have been a closed casket for that boy. So all I'm gonna say is this. Like you said, in regards to what at least you just said, and Marcel kind of tied to both of y'all just said, it is we have to think deeper and a lot more strategic in the things that we're doing. We got to stop looking for this country that we live in, this country that our ancestors built, blood, sweat, and tears, forcefully. We got to stop looking for them to honestly give us all the rights. You know, yeah. And we gotta get to the point where we gotta say now, like, man, I don't think this really gonna happen. And if it is gonna happen, we gonna have to develop within ourselves. I mean, it's got to be to that point. But the problem with that is, dang, how can I say this? Y'all can jump in at any time. But most blacks don't like working with blacks they're not familiar with working with. And what I mean by that is that I've seen good blacks. It's just like in business, myself included. I'll go and do work for an individual. And shout out to most people I do work for. They do it, they pay, they do everything else. There's no problems in anything of that nature. But I'll tell them my price, and some of them will say something is like this, like, "Whoo, man, that's a little steep." And I'm looking at them like, "Hold on, I know you're lying, but I'm thinking in my head, I know you're lying. How about this? How about you go call Geek Squad, you go call Home Depot, and you find out how much they gonna charge you. I already know what they gonna charge you. That's why I'm charging what I'm charging." Like, you know what? I just ain't gonna do that. That's what I get from my people sometimes when I do business with them. They always want the discount. And you should never want a discount from somebody that look like you. You should be wanting to pour into them because they worth every dime. Because if Home Depot came to your home and said, it's gonna cost $25,000 and I need 25% down, you're gonna write the check, you're gonna cash out, you're gonna do everything you gonna do, because why? That's their mentality. I've seen it work. Leisha, I know that you do all that web design. How many times have you rolled up on people that don't? You tell them a fair price. You tell them the fair price. They go out there. If they dare go out there to Facebook or anywhere else and ask for the price, it'd be 10 times more. You'd be like, actually, I'm cutting you really deal. You could go out there and ask somebody, but my time is worth it. I'm not going
to, especially to your own people, and they still
and they still do it.
My boy was gonna do that for XYZ, but then why you come to me?
There you go.
If your boy is your boy.
Like, if then you don't do it for that,
up the job, they want to come back to me and be like, "Messed up. Can you fix this?" Yes, at the same price that I told you already. Oh, you gonna charge me?
Yeah.
Like,
price still came to me first time. I gave you a deal anyway. I don't never go through
all the time.
That with other people and all of but my own people, boy. But I love y'all.
It's a trip. It is a trip. You try to do good business. You try to do good business, and I've seen it all the time. People will always go where they're comfortable with. So if you if you kind of a sneaky, underhanded, always looking for a discount person, you're gonna go and gravitate to the sneaky individuals all the time. When you got people that actually do good business, got good ethics and everything else of that nature, they tend not to want to deal with you because he kind of want to do everything by the book. Like, bro, what do you mean? I want to do everything professional. I won't. When I tell somebody, when I leave a house, when they see the work I've done for them, the work should speak volumes by itself, and then everything else should be word to mouth, because that's how most best business gets done. That's what I love about social media. Word to mouth pass very fast. And with social media, that junk, boom, 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 boom. So when someone asks me, I'll be a little leery when I do, most of the time, most of my business, downriver, I love downriver. Downriver, pay good. Downriver, they love paying for it. They ain't scared of it. They have the money ready. I tell them the price. They're like, oh man, that's it. Okay, cool beans. Grosse Point, They do me good over in Grosse Point. Money ready, ain't got to worry about nothing. Cool beans. It's always those itty bitty pieces inside Detroit. And even some other, I mean, I'm just being honest. It's always like, okay, you want him to do the job. I just told you, I came here like just like what you said, Alicia. I go there and I look, oh, he did this drywall. I'm like, I mean, shoot, how did he frame it? He looked like he framed it, the frame like it's three feet apart. He's like, oh, well, you could go about, 36 inches on center. I'm like, no, I go 16 inches on center. It'll be better. It'll be stronger. There we go. I'm like, they changed it that route because they want to be cheaper. But if I do it this way, you'll never have to worry about it again. And what happens? People always, I always tell people, you get what you pay for. And most people don't want to pay for quality. They'll say, man, he a little high. But then you'll go right back to these Arabics, every other company. You will pay what they tell you to pay. And you won't say that they overpricing you. You'll say, oh, yeah, I know you're going to do me good. And that's my biggest problem. We can't even get dollars circulating in our own community to even talk about we going to revolt. We can't even keep a dollar in our own community. We live in a city where 85% of there's no other city in the country. And this is what people tend to forget about Detroit. Detroit has the highest percentage-wise population of black people in the country. That's higher than cities down south. And down south is where the biggest population of blacks are. But Detroit is the real chocolate city. 85% of the residents of this city are African American. But we own 5%
Absolutely.
of the businesses. My goodness. Where you go? When we got our communities, where do you go?
I have with somebody about when it comes to the call. We should have still been inside just a little longer, but yet they started opening up businesses. Everybody got to work. They just want everybody to work. I'm like, no, they want y'all slaves to keep running their jobs, be out here doing nothing. They can just sit and collect money. And they're like, well, they know everybody ain't got no money. No, they know everybody and they want their money back. So in order to keep the economy going, they have to, like Detroit's been down for another 2 weeks. They feel like they would have went bankrupt. And that's a fact because once they put their money in our hands, they had to open up. And people are like, no, they opened up like, hair shops. Somebody got to pay that rent. Rent is coming up. Rent is due. You know what I'm saying? And surely that is due. And the people who own that are not black people. For majority of it.
Jordan.
Right.
Go out there, test it out, and put money back into the economy because otherwise they got to close down big businesses, having to close a lot of their stores. Who would have thought that Starbucks was going to close down over 300 stores in the United States? Who would have thought Starbucks, of all places?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I laugh, the power of a dollar when it comes to our community. And I laugh when they say stuff like, I'm like, oh, okay, for one day. So all they're going to do is, they know so they go up higher on the gas before, so that way they ain't worried about the next day when y'all protest the station.
Absolutely.
Y'all protesting at Walmart, right? Nobody's going to shop at Walmart. As soon as we get done with our protesting or our silent protest, then next week they got a major sale and have to go and put all that money into Walmart.
Yep.
I don't get it. Coach and Gucci can clothing, and they can apologize and say, I don't know how that happened, and it has to cross a couple of barriers before it gets out there on the press. So they saw it, but what they wanted to buy it when they saw it because they know it's going to be pulled off the shelves real soon. So it makes it a collector's item. What they do for us, they give us a nice big sale. They throw out a sale, and all of a sudden black people like me or coach or none of them after they just basically threw out some racist thing that I don't like. If you're gonna protest, protest right. One day ain't gonna do it.
There we go.
1 week ain't, because they know we can't go long enough.
Yep.
We not the 1940s, 50s, 60s, and 70s handle it. And I keep saying, I be like, the black folks of today can't handle the protests that we was doing then. At the same time, if you're gonna protest, I need it right. So I'm gonna make this statement. Black men are on the podium, and I only need one black man talking. Y'all need to be on the podium, and I only need one man. The news people being able to come to a crowd of black people at a protest and let anybody that, at least we hear who's going to be leading our plan and leading our mission. The many years that we have been protesting, right? The marches, everything. We need to be pepper spraying. Why is nobody packing a little carton of milk? Milk. Why are y'all going to protest where y'all know it's going to get like this and you're not get hot and thirsty? Because usually it's hot out. Y'all looking for stores to have bottles to feel bad for us, and we're trying to get water. You should already have your water, the essentials that you need. And that's as black people who have been protesting and having these marches for years for the simple march. So where are the people who we're gonna march? We need to be prepared, because once they come out there with all of this stuff, we gotta run and like. Who would have thought pepper spray would have scared us so bad? Said not. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I know what like. That's beyond the point. What I'm saying is, we don't start because we're not prepared. Marches and people don't have a mask on, but we during COVID. Y'all ain't even got a COVID mask. A little bit of the pepper spray moment, a little bit of the bombing moments. But we have goggles and stuff. Eye protectors wear. Because if they did pepper spray, if everybody had that, guess who that would bother? Really nobody. We are just never prepared. We don't. It's very funny because the white people who came out, they had like walkie-talkies, like, yeah, the police are coming from.
I wasn't even gonna touch that. I'm glad you did.
I was like, look, these white folks, they so prepared.
Like you said. It's funny. It's ridiculous. It's so night and day. Just like it's crazy.
A bit better.
Then what you say, Sel, when you was talking about the guy that came up? How old was he? 19? That came up shooting.
You say who?
The guy that came up shooting. That killed what? He killed 3 people.
Shooting in the crowd.
I think he was 17. He was younger.
17. Look at this. Same young with long gun, prepared for war, because he knew what I was going up there for. Look, this is what I'm coming up here for. I'm coming up here to do some damage. What's the y'all probably both know, even the young the white boy in and I'm, not being offensive to anybody, but he is white. The boy in what's that, Colorado, went and shot the movie theater during Dark Knight. He came. Came up there loaded body armor to the teeth, come in the theater in his car. Cops never, not one shot from a cop.
No.
Are you kidding me? Not one shot from a cop. Not one recorded shot did they shoot.
Not a single shot.
Not one shot. But in all these other little situations, and I don't want people to confuse what we're trying to say. It's like people, I don't want people to get it confused. Like, we're not saying what's happening is not bad. We know it because we've seen it. We've been around it. We know it's horrible. And we didn't see the situation. We know, I don't want people to get it twisted that we're saying we discount it. We know it's horrible to shoot somebody in the back 7 times. That's more than excessive, especially when you got. I counted like 4 cops on scene. At least 4 that I saw. I saw 2 following them with pistols out.
Yeah.
And it's like, if y'all don't have no better training than this, because I've seen cops handle situations 10 times better than this. I've seen cops handle it like, okay, man, you tripping. Like, just, hey, stop. Just come over here. You tripping, blah, 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 blah. I done seen white folks get in the face of cops, be doing everything, spitting, cussing them out. I'll pay your salary. La, 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 la. And I never seen them do no harm. Like, okay, look, I understand. Let's calm. Let's get you down. Let's get you digress. Let's do it this way. But, just like in everything, like you said, everything that we've been saying now, it's just like you said, it's like when we get out here to do anything, we got to come with the viewpoint. Just like see, I think where a lot of people get twisted when it came to Malcolm X and a lot of other groups, a lot of other people that are unnamed that we'll never know firsthand because they stand never got publicized like the way Malcolm or Martin or even Nat Turner or any of those other guys, Medgar Evers, any of them. It's a lot of people that were getting beat, going to jail, standing up for what was right that will never be named. And when we really look about it, is that they thought Malcolm was talking about, he was just want to be pure violence. I'm like, no, he was pure plan. You got to listen to what this brother was saying. He like, man, I was pure plan. I'm saying any means necessary, meaning that we gonna have everything planned out what we gonna do, and if it comes to that way, we going to it by levels. If we got to get to this, if we got to get to where we got to throw arms and throw guns, then guess what? That's what we're gonna do. But it's planned, and that's what you respected so much about him. If you go and just listen to this man speak, you will hear in his voice this whole the plan, the concept laid out. Like, look, this is what we need to do. And the dangerous part about that, and the saddest most part about with Malcolm X, is that how do you take any flavor off of anybody else doing anything? You send your own people in there to do it. You send your own people that look like him to clean house. Like, okay, you know what? He talking all this stuff. He talking about getting this free. Send his own people in there to do something to him. I'm like, it happens in every great, this ain't nothing against the Nation of Islam, but it just is what it is. In every great dictatorship, there's always somebody underneath that wanted a little bit more, that's a little more nastier, that's a little bit more evil, that's a little bit more power hungry, and they're willing to do anything they can to get it. Look at it. Hitler, Stalin. We can go down the list.
Allow me to say, that's in any race.
Any race, you know what I'm saying? They just do it.
Any race, don't matter. I'm just saying. But here's one of the things that the movement with Malcolm X versus Martin Luther King, and a lot of again, Martin Luther King left us docile and easy to control, even not fight back in any sort of way. That was the way they think that they shouldn't test us and felt like they could test us when we started trying to do all that. With Malcolm X, one of the things that I point out to people is how many people died under the leadership of Malcolm X and him being out there protesting, standing in front of a place, saying that they're not going to stand for something. None of them were spit on. None of them were beat up. But right in front of the movement for being silent, not doing anything, not even saying anything, just being silent. And while you're being pulled, let's not rise up while they're being lynched and everything to treat his situation like I feel, but all of the Christian leaders who have tried their way for some reason, beat up, hung, raped, and everything without any consequences. And I feel like even right now, we be in a better off space. We need to start taking that market and doing what we need to do for our people, by our people, and know what it is we should be doing. I teach in school, or I used to, excuse me. I used to teach in a school, all different ages. And what I realize is a lot of times kids know they doing something wrong. Just like us black people, we know sometimes we doing something wrong, but because they want to have some sort of excitement because we ain't really got nothing. They want some excitement, attention. They decide to do all of the foolish, wrong things. They don't see the purpose in life, and one of the problems that I feel that comes from is because we have black adults that are saying they can do, the white man just go tear it down anyway. That is one of our biggest grown people. It's like, well, I want to do this, but the white man ain't gonna let me get no hurt. To me, if you a grown man, you a grown woman, you can't tell me I can do nothing. I'm saying, like, you can't tell me I can't, run my own business in my neighborhood, that I can't have good credit. I couldn't believe this woman said the reason why I put this is because my credit was better than his. They ain't gonna let him have good credit. What do you mean they ain't gonna let him have good credit? They be having that shit on his neck. No, system not to do better in life. That's what you did.
No.
Like, come on, now, reality where we feel like we can't get no higher or we can't do no better. Another thing is white folks are scared of us because if they were, they wouldn't do all the stuff that they do to us right now.
Absolutely.
If white folks killing police officers, they're not scared. If they were scared, they wouldn't do things. If they were scared, I shoot this black man because these black people is gonna come to my house and string me up. That's what fear looks like. How like we scared to do a lot of different stuff.
Yep.
Because we, some police is gonna stop us. That's fear. You know what I'm saying? That's what fear.
That's true.
Looks like. That's what fear looks like. Fear don't look like I'm gonna come and kill you almost all over the news. That's not fear. That's them saying, well, at the end of the day, I ain't gonna have no consequences for it. That's what that is. There's no way they can continuously do this over the years and feel like, oh, do you think that guy had his knee on Floyd's neck because he was scared? Like, sometimes I think of those situations. So if we stop posting and talking about how scared of us, then white people in the other media will stop saying, well, because he was scared. He wanted to make it home to his kids. Hell, so do we. We want to make it home too. Different steps that we gotta hold ourselves accountable for and do better.
Absolutely.
And I need a lot of black men to decide they want to lead. We'll be in a better off place.
I absolutely agree with that. You won't find not one complaint on me in regards to that. I don't like. I told and we ran into this so much in the community where sometimes we didn't have complaints from other men to say, well, shoot, I don't want to work with Mr. Johnson, man. He kind of too, what I'm saying, this and that, or I don't want to work with Mr. Cope because they kind of hold. I'm like, well, no, I'm like, I hold people to accountability, and the person I hold to the biggest accountability is the guy right now talking. This is the man I hold to the biggest accountability. It's Randy Johnson Jr. So if I hold myself to an accountability, I mean, I wouldn't expect nothing else out of leadership. And this is, just like Alicia, you said that really hit it on the head. That a lot of men talking about treat me like a man, didn't act like a man. Some of y'all got a false belief what y'all think a man is. Y'all think a man is a dictator. A man not a dictator. A leader is not a dictator. A leader leads by example. That means when his people look up and they need strength, they can see it in a leader. They can see that their leader don't quit. They can see that their leader, even though he cut and bleeding, don't stop. This is what drives individuals. This is why leaders are not. I tell people, when people say they're a natural born leader, I tell them like that's to a point, but I really believe leaders become leaders through circumstance because they go through things and they understand it a little bit more. Situations find out people's true character. That's period. When people tell me like, how you figure out who it is, look at how their character is. And the only way you find out people's character get tested is through situational aspects. Like, okay, oh man, I'm a tough guy. Wait, I'm gonna kick somebody's ass. Now you got a situation where you got to fight. Now you're like, whoa, let's try to figure out something else. I don't want to do this. Like, yeah, that situation brought out that you wasn't ready for that. So, I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree with everything. Like you just said, Alicia, that was just cool beans. I can't wait for her book to come out. And Sale, I know, and Sale, I know that like you said, we're just being out in the neighborhood, and I know that all three of us work in the neighborhoods and been in there, and great respect for each and one of y'all and what you do in this community. Because I don't like people that talk about community and they never helping out in it. It's like, don't complain about the community that you live in and you don't do anything in it. You always complaining about safety, but how many times have you went out here patrolling? How many times have you went up here and saw kids walking down the street and you made sure they made it to where they had to made it to safely? How many times have you made sure that these old people ain't got nothing to fear on their own blocks? How many times have you made sure that the women in our own community is not victimized by the men in our own community? Forget it just about outsiders coming in. I can't check. You can tell. It's crazy. It's just like you talk about the community, like, and don't get every community the same. It's so many patches in Detroit that are incredible that you can't play that stuff on their block. And everybody know where it is. You go to that block, they don't play that. Like, no, they gonna play that over there. So don't tell me about that. It's just like how we be telling what's that cell? Alter. I told them it's the Alter Road theory. Alter Road separates Grosse Pointe from Detroit. If you want to see you want to see the most spiritual, I mean, go to Alter Road and you'll see one of the biggest spiritual transfers you'll ever see in your life. One side of the road is Grosse Pointe. You feel completely safe a little bit. You're like, man, I feel safe on this side of the road. You go to the other side, you Detroit, you looking over your shoulder. Bro, it's a foot difference. What are you talking about? And you like, if that don't tell you that over here, if it's clean and they working it out over here, then guess what? Over here it could be the same way. So when we see so much, like you just said, Alicia, we have got to get to the place as a whole, and after all that we've been talking about, and all these protests, all these shootings, and all this, we want to get together, all this revolutionary talk, and all that other nonsense that everybody loves saying. We got to have a plan. So, if anything, I want to say on this season finale of season 2 of Unfiltered, if it's anything I want to say to y'all, is that going forth, 2020 hit like some bricks. Everybody's experiencing some things they ain't never experienced before. And I understand that. But we got to have a plan. If you came out of this pandemic and still going through it, and you have not sat down to at least think of a plan for your future and the things that you want to do, you have nobody to blame for your failure but yourself. This should have been the time frame that they allowed so many things to happen. We're going to pay for it in taxes. Some of us, whoever had to go through it, you're going to pay for it in the tax. You're going to see it. But when you were getting this money, y'all should have been stacking it. You should have been doing things to make sure that you can have a steady increase of it, that it just wouldn't just come from unemployment. And I'm not picking nobody's pockets. I know that's a favorite saying of people. Don't be counting my pockets. Well, let me tell you something. Well, don't be coming to me asking me for money in my pockets. Make sure that you did everything that you were supposed to do right, because you shouldn't have got more bills. You should have been paying things down, putting stuff to the side, investing, doing everything that you can to see how you can continue some type of flow of financial income, because it's only going to get worse. And I'm being optimistic, period. But it's
Right.
about to get tough, especially for us. It's going to get tough. When it gets tougher for us, it's not considered a pandemic until it reaches to the burbs. It's not a recession until it reached the burbs. Blacks have been going through so much, and we've been hustling for so much for years. They knew the things that were going on with us. It don't get nationwide attention that it needs to be a change and help is needed until it hits the burbs. So what we need to do, like I said, and anything else, please have a plan. Just like Alicia said, we got to have a plan. And you know what? We have to be willing to sacrifice for this plan. Let me say that again for the people in the back row. You got to be willing to sacrifice for the plan. That means, guess what? Some of that materialistic stuff that you buy different every month, every different day, they tell you that it's different. You want to know why? Like I tell everybody all the time, you want to know why they have a different car, the same car, and they just say change the number on it at the beginning, like, oh, this is the 2020, this is the 2021, it's the 2022, it's the 2023. The reason why they do it like that is that they build on the fact that people are so unsatisfied. You want to tell them that it's something different, but it's the exact same thing. You just put a different number on it and you up the price. And what you do all the time, I remember for so long they never changed the body style of the Impala when they brought it back out. It's the same Impala. Oh, it's a 2005. Oh, 2006. 2000, and they did this for so long until it catches up with them. It caught up with the car companies. A little year called 2008. It almost destroyed GM. It almost destroyed the auto industry because they were so greedy. They had so many different other companies producing the same car but putting different names on it. You had a Trailblazer. Then they're like, what? Wait a minute, Trailblazer? I got an Enclave. Oh, ain't that the same as the what's the name? You got a Saab 6. Ain't that the same as the Trailblazer and everything? They got greedy. And what happened?
Very greedy.
We came out. They came out here. They used taxpayers' money, which should have been put back to the taxpayers. They use it to bail out these huge companies who are still taking and still misusing the money, still doing it to this day, to try to save them, because they said if we put out more money, we give them things, they'll spend more money. They've been doing it for years. And what we need to do now, just like Alicia, just like you said, Sal, is now we need to just get to a solid plan. And we got to, it's time for us to do some major sacrifice. So what happened is that our people that came before us, the 30-somethings, our grandfolks, ancestors. I like to go there. I hate that word ancestors, but ancestors. Sometimes it just seems like such a bad word, like ancestor, but our ancestors who came and were sticking up for us. Some of them that realized they would never get the education that we've been able to get now. And I ain't just talking about college degrees. I'm talking about all education. I'm talking about whatever it is. They knew that they would never see the opportunity to be in classrooms and graduate from colleges, to have great paying jobs and things of that nature. But they didn't let that stop them. It didn't stop them from sacrificing for us so that way we can have better. We've lost that.
Yeah.
Nobody's willing to sacrifice for anything. Everybody is like, most people, I want to say everybody, most people are like, I'm getting where the getting is good, especially in the Black community. I'm getting where the getting is good. I got to get it for myself quick, fast, in a hurry. And that's how they do things. So all in all, because I do want to say, I want to say thank you to my, both of my wonderful guests. This Alicia. Alicia was going to be on here before y'all, but she had an incident. And so she good, but she came on this bad boy. And I'm just glad we was able to get her on this show. And hopefully it ain't the last time we get her. We'll see her next season on season 3 Unfiltered. But and look at that. I know that I want to hurry up. I'm going to hurry up and get her off of here because she got to go cruise. And she told me that's her cruise buddy. I guess he driving. So I just want to get her to be good. So Alicia, Miss Champion, thank you so much for being on here. Loved everything that you had to say. We appreciate you so much. I know I'd say hi to Mac, Nicole, and drunk Jordan at home. And Jordan, I'm gonna mess with you. I'm gonna mess with you this whole time after you told me that crap. But thank you so much, Alicia. I appreciate you being on here. And Marcel, of course, man, I thank you so much, man. Custom host, a crowd favorite. I appreciate you so much, brother. And all in all, I just want to tell everybody, thank y'all for an incredible second season of Unfiltered. I'm like I said, I'm beyond words. The amount of views that we didn't got, and just the comments and the ongoing sharing that everybody do, man. We are so grateful for you. Like I said, man, you see, we got it in Japan, we got it in the United Kingdom, and not just all over this, just the United States, man. It's incredible, and I'm so happy. I don't even know what to say. Like I said, I'll just leave it like that. For everybody else, we will be off next week. And probably the week after that, because we're getting ready for season 3 coming up. Bringing back all the good, bringing back so much more stuff. And is the little boy? His little boy hands are big. Is that his hands? Was that his hands I just saw? Oh my goodness, his hands bigger than mine. Was that you, Leisha? Oh, that
she big. My nephew's wife is a tall woman, so I'm not going to be surprised if she's that way too.
Okay, so she's well. We thank y'all so much. So for Marcel, Alicia, and to every single one of our unfiltered viewers, please continue sharing. Please continue following. Please continue commenting. And I promise y'all, next season gonna even be bigger and even better. So on behalf of Jordan, Asian Boy, Mac Reese, Miss Cola, and my great guest for tonight, thank y'all so much. And for everybody
Thank you for
Unfiltered. Oh, you are so welcome, Alicia. We got to have you again so we can get some good debates out of you. So, and to everybody else, man, Sale, love you, bro. Appreciate you.
I was like, what time?
And it's crazy, but everybody else, man.
I had a good time. About 15 minutes to get back home, but I had a good time. I enjoyed it. Nice. Saying to following and seeing what you got going on. And again, Red, y'all tune in all the time. Every time that I can get a chance to turn it on, I'm here. You got me. I'm very proud of y'all.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Shoot, Sal, I don't know if you got something to say before I go ahead and let these people go. And
no, just thank you for having me on. Congratulations on 2 incredible seasons. I thought it was more than that because you produce so much content.
I know I got so much content, and I'm telling you, bro, I got content galore, and people don't understand this, man. I've been working so hard. I'm not someone that talk about all my, and you already know, Sal. I don't talk about everything that I do because just like Miss Champion said, I am so strategic and I'm about planning. And it is so many things in store. And then one of the comments I always get all the time, every email is, man, when are you going to drop your book? Soon. To everybody out there.
Yeah, leave it at that. There you go.
Leave it at that. I always want to say, God bless. Love y'all. Take care. Love each other. And, hey, see y'all in a couple of weeks.
All right. Well, good night, everyone.
Good night, y'all.